Okay, so let's it go. Architecture. The art and science of designing and constructing building is called as architecture. It's called as architecture. So just wait for a while. Now I feel this is a good setting, whereas you can okay. Let me come back to yes. So who is architect? Who is architect? A person who plans, designs buildings and advises in their construction is called architecture. Architect. Fine. Now role of various agencies in planning of the building. As and when we plan a building, uh, these are the particular people who are responsible for the construction of the building. The first one is the architect. Here you can see the percentages. He is spending 35 percentage of his what you can say inputs in the planning of the building. Quantity surveyor placed 23rd, second most highest percentage is divided. Structural engineers 18%, service engineers 12%, management consultant 4%, landscape architect 2%, specialist designer 2%, various other consultants 4%, such an environmentalist, interior designer, etc. The expression of building depends upon composition of plan and architectural design of the structure. The expression of the building depends upon the composition of the plan and architectural design of the structure. Both the things are getting together. Now principle of architectural composition. So these are the way how we had the fundamental principles of planning, building planning. That is orientation of the building, aspect, prospect, luminaries, furniture requirement and so on. Here in architectural composition, the principles are unity, contrast, mass, composition, proportion, scale, accentuation and rhythm and character. Let us discuss this all one by one. Let us start up with the first one, and that is unity. What do we mean by unity? Unity means oneness, and it indicates harmony among the different building elements. It imparts coherence of the parts and integrity of the whole. Unity means oneness, and it indicates harmony among the different building elements. It imparts coherence of the parts and integrity of the wholeness. A dominating mass placed at the center at the convenient place to make it as a point of importance and destroy the duality of competition is called as unity. So here you can see in this particular image, the central portion is made unique and it integrates the remaining whole what you can say compositions of the building itself, and that is how it maintains unity of the structure. So it dominating mass placed at the center here it is placed at the center or at convenience place to make it a point of importance. So this is the central point. This is how we can justify. So this is what is called as unity. Contrast. It means absence of monotony. It creates interest in humans because our mind carries impressions based on contrast existing in nature. So contrast is very important. Care should be taken to not destroy the unity. While maintaining the contrast, we are supposed to be careful enough to maintain the unity. Contrast can be created using different shapes, their line of direction, use of direction, different construction materials, shades of color creates contrast. So let us see how we are having the role of contrast. So here two colors, yellow and black, right? So contrast in terms of variety, right? So here we can observe the contrast in size, right? So the central statue is having a proportionate, what you can say, scale with respect to the whole building. Fine. So that is what is called as contrast by variety. So that is nothing but the in terms of size, contrast in size. Second is contrast in variety. Here once again the same thing is there. The contrast of it is can be maintained by contrast of shape. So here you can say this is the contrast of shape. This is contrast of shape. Mass, contrast of mass. See, here the mass is totally bit different. It is great variation of the mass. Here the mass is rectangular, means cuboidal content, and here there is no any similar kind of stuff. It is totally irregular, and that is what is called as contrast of mass. Contrast of tone. Here textures and openings we can observe, and we can observe the contrast. Fine. Next principle of architecture is mass composition. Mass is a three-dimensional shape having definite width, length and height. Right? The mass arrangement is to be done in such a way that harmonious unity of the structure is maintained. So mass composition matters a lot while we are thinking about the architectural principles. Development of masses is done from both plan and elevation of the building. So in both the way the development of the masses should be done. So here the examples of the mass compositions are given in terms of the images. So here the masses are what you can say given. Here is odd mass, cubical mass, cuboidal mass. Here is also some odd shape is given. Proportion. The dimensions of length, width and height with respect to one another gives pleasing effect. The dimensions of the length, width and height with respect to one another gives the pleasing effect. A square living room fails to create a good impression, but a rectangular one with a length about 1.2 to 1.5 times the width gives pleasing effect, although a greater ratio gives undesirable tunneling effect. So this is what we already discussed in our planning. Golden ratio. It is divine proportion used for beauty and balance in the design of art. So I feel if you are remembering, so you might have came to know that when you was in first year, at that time you was studying the subject of engineering graphics and you was learning some curves. So here in this particular image, the beauty of golden ratio is what you can say explained. Here this is a square having the size of a by a, and this is the first curve. This b by b is having the second curve, and c by c is having third curve, d by d 4, e by e 5, f by f, g and h n, like this. And if we sum up all these curves together, it gives a golden ratios, what we can say beauty. One more example is the golden ratio. That if we consider the length of our palm as 1, then the length from your what you can say wrist up to your knee, it will be equal to 1.618 approximately. The same thing is being maintained and calculated from the picture of Mona Lisa. Here b by a ratio is 1.618. The same this principle is applied over here. This is the golden ratio, right? And then the same thing is being applied for the construction of the pyramids. This figure you must have seen. Here the proportion of the different units are so proportionated that this is, if this is 1, then this is having some proportion of that. Then this rise or up to center, it follows a specific ratio, right? Even in this particular composition itself, the smaller what can say elements are following the ratio with respect to a total height of the structure. The same thing is being observed in this particular image, that these two, the upper part and lower part, is divided into two ratios vertically. Golden ratio, this is the, I need not to tell, this is the Taj Mahal. So if we see the structure of Taj Mahal, so here also a golden ratio has been followed. The same thing has been applied in the what we can say Eiffel Tower, to have a better view of that. Scale. The scale in architectural composition means proper relation of different elements to one another and to whole. The scale is considered with respect to surroundings. The size of doors, windows, staircase are different for the residential building when compared to monumental or public buildings. Monumental or public building. The proper scale is essential for better and qualitative results of the proportion. The size of door, window and steps and handrail height should suit the users and create feeling of comfort, right? So everything should be in terms of a proper scale. All the elements which is being used by the people has to be there in a proper scale. Accentuation. Accentuation means emphasis and is created by different combinations of elements in the architectural composition. The elements are classified as positive and negative elements. Positive elements create impression of decision, rigidity and functions. For example, column. And negative elements creates impressions of hesitation, flexibility and decoration. The examples are arch or a lintel. So the accentuation is nothing but the emphasis, and it creates by different combinations of elements in architectural composition. So how we are making a combination of columns and arch and lintel and all. An architecture needs to create an area of emphasis or focal point which is considered as the visual starting point from which the eye will begin the journey of recognizing the whole architectural work. So, something should be catchy, which attracts the observer or user or the person who is coming from outside to enjoy the architectural work, and that is what is called as nothing but accentuation. So, while making the architectural planning, we can have the use of different shape and size of the columns as well different types of the arches and lintels to attract the, what you can say, see here the examples of accentuation is given. So some odd which attracts this design, this vertical design 1 2 3, this all is the example of accentuation. Next principle of planning is rhythm. Rhythm in architectural composition is repetition of certain patterns at regular interval, such as columns fixed at fixed intervals. It is pleasing and attractive. So rhythm, it means the things which is being placed. If we are having a large structure, then the arrangement of the units are placed at equidistance, and that is to maintain the rhythm in the structure itself, right? So here these two images are self-explanatory. You can see that we are having this building, these all columns are placed at equidistance. Here also this structure is made totally equidistance. Character. What do we mean by character? It refers to the style of the building. The character is related to functional aspect of the building and evolves from proper combination of unity, mass composition, proportion, scale, etc., which constitute the basic principle of architectural composition. Types of character. We are having three types of character: functional character, traditional character, and personal character. So let us discuss all these three types of characters one by one. The character that shows the purpose of the character that shows the purpose of the building or the reason for its erection. The external appearance plays an important role in determining the purpose and function of the structure. For example, a school building must contain windows to admit the necessary sight, light, and to offer an interesting contrast with possible monotony of the classroom walls. Right? If we are designing a school building, then here the functional character should be maintained, that placing of the windows, right, and then classroom walls, everything should be properly placed. A factory expresses the efficient operation of the manufacturing within. In designing skylight instead of windows can indicate a museum. Right? So this all is about the functional character. So here the images are there. The way how the three examples were given. This is the example of a school, whereas these windows are placed in such a fashion that it gives a proper sunlight to each and every classroom, and it breaks the monotonous, what we can say, tunneling effect of the walls of the classroom. Here uh, the functional requirement of a factory is being fulfilled. Here we can see the functional museum. If you are having museum, then accordingly you are supposed to design the roof so that we can have the maximum sunlight over there. Traditional character. The character of some building is expressed through elements associated with certain influences. Such influences often go thousands of years back in history and culture. The cultural aspects plays an important role in determining the associated character of a particular structure. Let us see the examples. What is that? A spire on a tower by a side of spacious building indicates a church. A gopuram predicts Hindu temple, and crescent and white dome indicate symbol of mosque. So, need not to reflect, need not to justify, but a particular shape gives the traditional culture, traditional, what you can say, things. The examples are simply explained over here. As and when we are observing the kind of structure like this, no need to ask that it's a hotel or school or a residential bungalow. It will be always a temple. If we can see this kind of structure with the standardized, what you can say, design, 90%. New innovations may there, new designs may be there, but yes, this common design indicates the church. If we are having the dome like this and we are having minars like this, it will reveal that it is nothing but a mosque, right? Now next one is personal character. If a building is designed in a proper spirit, personal characteristics such as grace, dignity and vitality can be expressed as an integral part of the structure. So here this is the example of personal character, right?